Mr. President. What a pleasure. Pleasing surprise to see you.
Chairman of the International Board of Governors, Mr. Henry Taub, President of Technion, Professor Zev Tadmor, Sam, Cecilia, and friends, we are celebrating 3 occasions today. First, Sam Neaman's 80th birthday. And 2 events that are related to that. The Neaman Institute's 15th anniversary, and last but not least, the cornerstone laying of the permanent home for the Institute. It's about time, isn't it? When the Institute was founded 15 years ago, it started off as a couple of rooms in civil engineering, because of Yaakov Ber, who is here in the audience somewhere. And after various migrations, we got a suite of offices in the science-based industries complex. This place is usually meant as a transition for companies that, when successful, they move out and start manufacturing. We've been there for a long time, perhaps too long. With the growth and scale and breadth of the operations of the Neaman Institute, we now have over 90 researchers. We've been feeling the pinch and have been setting up colonies all over the Technion. And the time has come to grow up and move into our own home. Before going on with the program, I'd like to read you a letter which we got from Ezer Weizmann, the President of the State of Israel. Jerusalem, May 31st, 1993. Mr. Samuel Neaman, the S. Neaman Institute for Advanced Studies in Science and Technology, Technion City, Haifa. Dear Sam, it is my great pleasure, as one of my first acts as President of the State of Israel, to offer you my warm congratulations on this triple milestone for the Samuel Neaman Institute for Advanced Studies in Science and Technologies. Through the many years that we have been friends, you have always been devoted to the welfare of the State of Israel, and would like to offer my best wishes for your 80th birthday. You had both the vision to found Israel's technological think tank and the commitment to serve as its chairman for the decade and a half since its inception. You have skillfully guided your institute in its mission to provide the nation's policymakers with the means to tackle issues of vital importance to this country. I congratulate you and the entire staff of the Institute on the occasion of 15 years of service to the state. Finally, I congratulate you on the groundbreaking ceremony of the Neaman Institute's new home. May you continue in your endeavors for the advancement of Technion and Israel. Sincerely signed, Ezer Weizmann. I now call on Mr. Henry Taub, Chairman of the International Board of Governors.
Sam Neaman, Chairman of the Board of the Neaman Institute. Cecile. Technion President Zev Tadmor. Danny Weiss, Director of the Institute, and members of the board and all the honored guests assembled here. We've already identified the 3 simchas that come together in combination to make this a very special day, so I didn't think I'd want to comment on that any further. But Sam has been part of my life, not in an intimate sense, but in the sense of being able to observe very closely a most unusual person. I first came here in 1971, and Sam, if the Institute is 15 years old, the first thing I'd like to recollect is a magnificent dinner that took place in New York, in which 3,000 people assembled and 15 Nobel Prize winners presented themselves. A dinner organized by Sam Neaman on behalf of the Technion. As I look back, Sam, I know that that was a milestone event for the organization. As hard as we had worked at the Technion Society to establish credibility, that moved us up close to the top. It was a significant event. I don't know that anything like it has happened since, and it was a tribute to your organizational ability. Secondly, Sam, as president of the American Technion Society, his organizational competence came into play within this organization. I think if we're laying a cornerstone today, Sam, you laid the organizational foundation. And this is not a tribute, it's not a romantic tribute, I believe it to be a real reality. You brought to it the thinking of a powerful, creative mind that I think suggested early in the game the need for an institute of this type. And it was during your term as president that we began to understand not alone your managerial capabilities, but your devotion to the state of Israel and to the Jewish people. There's another incident, which I don't know that, or another fact that perhaps very few people are aware of, but I remember very vividly the fact that your father received a PhD at the age of 84. This was a number of years ago. I don't recollect when, but it stayed with me ever since. And I think your inheritance is one that you have used in a manner that's exemplary from every point of view, and it's reflected in what we're talking about today. You've created a tool for policymakers in Israel. It's already achieved a great reputation. It's going to be perpetuated so that its good work can be continued. And it's a remarkable contribution to Israel and the Jewish people, and I'm really thrilled to be here today with you.
I'd like now to call on Professor Zev Tadmor, President of the Technion.
Thank you, Professor Weiss. Mr. and Mrs. Samuel Neaman, Mr. Henry Taub, Chairman of the Board of Governors, ladies and gentlemen. As a former director of the Samuel Neaman Institute for Advanced Studies in Science and Technology, I feel fortunate to be president of the Technion in the year when we are approaching yet another milestone of the Technion, providing a fitting home for the Neaman Institute. But as it has been said before, today we are celebrating more than a groundbreaking ceremony. In fact, we have a triple celebration. The Neaman Institute recently reached its 15th anniversary, and during those years it has grown from a fanciful dream to a mature and internationally acclaimed center. Sam, who masterminded this institute and who has wisely and patiently watched the institute grow, is also celebrating this year, as mentioned before, his 80th birthday. I would like to quote to you, in Sam's own words, his reasons for creating this institute. To create a physical and intellectual environment in which researchers, thinkers, individually or jointly, would identify the problems facing the community and the individual citizen of this country, prioritize them, and apply to them the tools of scientific research and scholarship. These researchers should offer alternative solutions to each problem so that the legislators should be able to select the particular solution which is not self-serving but rather for the benefit of the country. End quote. This paragraph fully captures Sam's vision and wisdom, drawing from a lifetime experience and intimate knowledge of human nature, a deep understanding of Israel's history and society, and a personal acquaintance with Israel's key political figures. Through the years that I have known Sam, I have learned that he is a keen observer of the world and mankind. He is a sharp and critical analyst. He has the mental capacity to see and understand things just as they are, without the slightest trace of self-illusion. Sam's deep personal involvement in public lives for decades on behalf of Israel, his motivation to create this institute, and his 15 years of active participation in the life of the institute reveal a person who deep inside has been and will always remain a true and incorrigible idealist. An idealist who has the vision to see how things ought to be, who deeply cares about the people of this country, the future of Israel, and the fate of the Jewish people. An idealist who, in spite of many disappointments, truly believes that there is goodness in people, all people, and that given the opportunity, they will choose to better the society in which they live. a man who sincerely believes that people are willing to learn from their mistakes and improve their lives, a man who believes that knowledge and understanding are means for progress, and that progress is made in small steps and in repeatedly making choices between alternative solutions to tackle any problem that faces the nation. This is the core of Sam's philosophy for the Institute. Indeed, real issues and problems facing society and the nation do not have simple solutions. They are more like engineering problems which have many solutions. More often than not, there is not even a best solution. But as Herbert Simon suggested, there are many satisfying solutions. Hence the alternatives. Let the elected officials make the choice. This is the way democracy works. But let them select from well-researched and sensible options, and not one offered by self-interested advisors. The Institute has done this time and again in water management policies, energy policies, project renewal, technological policy, scientific policy, industrial policy, and of course in engineering and educational policies. Finally, let me just conclude by describing the role I envision for the Institute as far as the Technion is concerned. We live in a society increasingly dominated by science and technology. The Technion is the leading scientific and technological university in the country, and I strongly believe that we have the moral responsibility to offer our collective, vast, technological and scientific knowledge to help solve national issues in these areas. Sam Naaman has given the Technion and the nation a tool. Moreover, he provided the philosophical framework and the means with which to apply this tool to the good of the country. I hope we and all those who will follow us down the road in history will have the wisdom to follow suit and take advantage of this tool. Thank you very much.
We originally invited Dr. Uzziah Galil to say a few words. He's unfortunately abroad, and his wife will present his statements, I guess.
Only greetings. Dear Sam, Cecilia, friends, and guests, there are very few events for which I feel so strongly sorry missing. This one, which I miss today, would have given me great satisfaction to participate in. Unfortunately, I had to be abroad for a very important issue, and I cannot share with you the honoring of a dear friend, Samuel Naaman, a great supporter of the State of Israel and the Technion. This new building to come will enable more studies and conferences to be held and will add to the recognition of the major contribution of the Samuel Naaman Institute to the country and its people. Let me tell you that this recognition was not always there. 15 years ago, when Sam Naaman asked me to join the Institute's board of directors, many people had mixed feelings about this institute and whether it will find the right place and meaning within the Technion. I remember Sam explaining to me his concept of creating a brain trust to help dealing with policy matters. We had then many discussions, but finally the Institute has evolved as the Sam Naaman brainchild and has focused more and more on policy matters regarding various major technological, scientific, educational, and quality of life aspects of the Israeli environment. Today, one can find a most impressive library of topics researched and analyzed by many scientists, engineers, economists, and others, sponsored by the Institute. But the most important thing is that many of their recommendations have already been implemented. Today, everyone considers a real honor to be part of the Sam Naaman Institute and its great contribution to the State of Israel. Certainly, having the Institute is a great achievement, but the Technion owes Sam Naaman much more for his lifetime of active devotion and dedication to the Technion. I can confirm this from my own experience through the years when I served as chairman of the International Board of Governors at the Technion, working closely with him. Ella, my wife, will convey on behalf of both of us our love and great admiration to Sam. We wish him many more years of happiness together with his wife, our dear friend Cecilia. And we are looking forward to being here together again to celebrate the entrance to the new building. And finally, Mazel Tov on your 80th birthday. Many more to come.
I will now read you the scroll which will then be placed into the Cornerstone. Technion, Israel Institute of Technology. On the 26th of Sivan, 5753, the 15th day of June, 1993, in the 46th year of the State of Israel, in commemoration of the cornerstone laying of the Samuel Neaman Institute for Advanced Studies in Science and Technology building, may this building provide a fitting home for Israel's leading technological think tank, which has become an invaluable tool for the nation's policymakers in science, technology, and planning. In testimony whereof we hereby affix our signatures, and in a few seconds we'll call on the Chairman of the Board of Governors, President of Technion, Sam Neaman, and Cecilia, to sign after I read the proclamation in Hebrew. טכניון מכון טכנולוגי לישראל. ביום ה-26 בסיוון 5753, שהוא ה-15 בחודש יוני 1993, בשנה 46 למדינת ישראל, אנו מניחים בזאת אבן פינה לבניין הקבע של מוסד שמואל נאמן למחקר מתקדם במדע וטכנולוגיה. מי ייתן ובניין זה ישמש משכן הולם למדוכת החשיבה הטכנולוגית המובילה של ישראל, שהפכה לגורם ראשון במעלה בשיקולים של מקבלי ההחלטות בתחום המדע, הטכנולוגיה והתכנון. ולראיה באנו על החתום, נשיא הטכניון, יושב ראש הקורטוריון, מנהל מוסד נאמן, יושב ראש מוסד שמואל נאמן וגברת ססיליה נאמן. I would like to call on... Okay. We'll start off with Mr. Henry Taub. Next call on Sam and Cecilia Neaman.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
Yes, please.
Next, we'll ask the President of Technion to sign. And finally, I guess I have to sign myself, so... The second scroll will be encased in, this in the Cornerstone forever, and it is with pleasure that I invite now all our honored guests to the Cornerstone laying. Sam, Cecilia. Sam and Cecilia. Can you come around so we can take the pictures?
How many do you want?
What's for you?
No, I do it myself. Sometimes I do it myself. Sorry.
If anyone wants to join in the honor of adding to the Cornerstone laying,
אתה רוצה שנתדע עוד פעם?
That's beautiful. Thank you.
General Amos Horev, ex-president of the Technion during the time the Neaman Institute was founded. And now to paraphrase Henry Taub, we are all now honorary members of the Bricklayers Union. Sam would like to say some words.
I'm sure you'll agree with me, it's hot. But it's hotter where I am, inside and out. And I won't try even to say anything but what I feel, and that's thank you very much indeed. But a lot of this, the compliments, the kudos belong to the 4 directors of the Samuel Neiman Institute, Professor Yaakov Ber, Professor Gad Chetzroni, Professor Tadmor, and the present director, Professor Danny Weiss. They gave the shape of the Institute, and they really made it. I'm only an observer.
Thank you very much, Sam.
That's your first name.
I was afraid of that.